This is Dolynny TV, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another edition of Edmonton Oilers discussion here on the channel this afternoon. Let me tell you, I don't really feel like talking about anything 6-3 San Jose. Anything last night, any post-game comments? We already talked about that a little bit in the community tab. That is why you should subscribe. The good little stuff that comes out in the community tab, which comes to your subscriptions feed if you're subscribed. I don't want to talk about it. You know what? I really don't. I valued sleep over the game last night. I was really worn out after a crazy past couple of weeks at work, so yeah, no, I didn't really feel like talking about the game, and of course, I had computer problems, so I couldn't stream last night. That said, this said, that over. Let's just forget about it. Let's move on to today. Oh wait, Coach Tippett's yelling at the boys. That sounds like another video. That sounds like something I don't want to talk about right now either. You know what I want to talk about? I think it's about what I'm talking about with everybody nowadays here in southern Alberta. That's what I want to talk about with you today, is what I'm talking about with everybody down here that is a Flames fan. Back in December, we weren't having these discussions that I'm talking about, but now, you know what? Suddenly we are, because things are getting a heck of a lot more interesting, and each team is within 30 or less games of the playoffs now, and that bodes well to the conversation between the old Battle of Alberta, with one game remaining April 4th that could be very decisive on what happens in the playoffs. Well, you know what? We've got Calgary Flames fans down here in southern Alberta. We've got Edmonton Oilers fans all across the world and on Dolynny TV talking about that dandy matchup of the Battle of Alberta meeting in the first, the second, the third round. Oh my goodness, yeah, the possibilities are wide open at this point for the Edmonton Oilers and the Calgary Flames. Essentially, it's got to be right now the message is win and you're in, but let's just go review something for the Edmonton Oilers here. The last time they played the Flames in the Battle of Alberta, they've played them 5 times. All right, think about this. They've played the Dallas Stars 8 times. They've played the Los Angeles Kings 7 times. They've played the Arizona Coyotes, which were then the Phoenix Coyotes, 6 times. They've played the Calgary Flames 5 times. They are, of course, 4-1 against the Calgary Flames in the playoffs. If I've got my math history correct, ladies and gentlemen, something says Steve Smith is a big factor why we're 4-1. That said, we've played a total of 30 games in the Battle of Alberta over those 5 times. And yeah, it's been since 1991. So, this is where I think the big exciting factor is for a lot of fans. This is either your first time possibly experiencing it, if it comes true. For me, no matter how I cut it, if I cut it from 05-06 or from when I was born 23 years ago, cut it however you like, it's still the first time in my lifetime. So for me, that's an experience. For the folks on the channel around the world that were alive during the 80s, that were either growing up in the 80s or were growing up in the 80s, enjoying the ruckus in the crowd at Rexall or at Northlands Coliseum or at the Saddle Dome back in the day. Yeah, you've been there, done that before, but I'm sorry. No matter how you cut it, we all want the dang same thing. We want it again. Because, ladies and gentlemen, for the first time in a long while, we have in February, we're a week into February, and the possibility is still very, very much alive that the Edmonton Oilers and Calgary Flames can play in the Battle of Alberta. That is unreal. That would be unreal. I mean, honestly, think about this on my end. You saw what the Battle of Alberta, a goalie fight, did, right? It's a goalie fight. It's nothing crucial to the game. It's just something spectacular that you don't see. It's a rarity. It's an oddity in the game. Well, guess what? That brought us in the live stream the other night up to 99 people at one point when the action was dead on the ice because they had sent the teams to the dressing room. Now, anyone who tunes into the streams, you know that's one of my favorite things to do. Obviously, I think a game review after a big Oilers win is one of my favorites, and trades as well. But My biggest thing is the crowd, is the energy, is the excitement that we can build between us as Oilers fans on a video and in the chat on a live stream. And guys, you can imagine as well as I can if you come to every stream how excitable, how unreal the atmosphere in the stream, in the chat especially, would be if we got this Battle of Alberta going. And let me tell you, round one, right on. She'd be fantastic. Problem is, we're both done by mid-April. Round two. Now, woo, 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 woo. Let's go. We aren't complaining too much. Round three. The cup is on the line, right? The berth to the cup final. It's one team after the opponent you're playing now. That's all that stands between you and the cup. You take me to game 7 of round 3. Now that requires one team to be a wild card and a second seed in the other division, but take me to round 3. All right, take me to round 3 and take me to game 7. You imagine how excited, how hyped up, how unbelievably unreal after what we've gone through this year, right? After everything we've gone through since December 27th to now, with a game remaining, how incredibly crazy. It would be bonkers, guys. Alberta, seriously, Alberta would be shut down for the week and a half that playoff series is played. Let's just face it. Nobody would be able to make it into work. School would be canceled. It just is what it is, right? That's the level of excitement we'd be getting to. Now, obviously, yeah, I'm exaggerating a bit, but you get where I'm going, right? This would be pretty much unprecedented in the past 29 years. We're talking guys who are almost, guys and ladies, who are almost 30 years old. Almost 30 years old, right? 29. People who are 29 years old. Actually, realistically, people who are 30 years old. Because nobody alive born in 1990 or after would remember that last playoff series. I'm sorry, if you've got memories from when you're 2, congratulations. I used to, but it just is what it is. That said, nobody born in the past 30 years remembers watching that playoff series live. So think about that. That is 30 years of humans. Now, obviously, yeah, you know what? Up to 4, that's about a 26-year gap, because about 4-year-olds would start remembering this series if it comes true. But that's still a lot of people in Alberta who have never witnessed the 2 Albertan teams muck it up in the playoffs. Think about that. Think about just how crazy that would do in Alberta. You think about the Oilers playoff run in 2017, right? Like that, guys, that was unreal. Now you think about everything we've suffered as Oilers fans, how badly Calgary wants playoff success and how badly they'd want to beat us. Does that not tell you how great of a series, how much of a bonding situation it would be for Alberta, how galvanizing, right? How much it would galvanize the hockey community in Alberta to see both teams in the playoffs battling against each other for provincial supremacy. And I mean, you take me to game 7, round 3, conference finals for the cup. Well, berth. Tell me, what would that do? Guys, that would be crazy. Now, the good line I heard today, and the reason I'm doing this video today, if you've listened for the past 9 minutes, is I was talking to one of my sheet metal installers today on site. I went in to check if he needed any boots. He was good, but he was like razzing me about that 8-3 Oilers win, because I'm an Oilers fan. He's a Flames fan, but he was razzing me, trying to ask me if I was still all here after maybe celebrating a little bit too hard. You know I didn't, but he was asking. And he just kept going on how badly he wants to see it. And he was all, round 1's good, second round's fine, but third round is where it would be at. Oh my goodness. And guys, that's coming from a Calgary Flames fan. And you talk, it's across the board in Alberta, and you talk about how much of an impact that would have in Alberta. Hockey rinks. I mean, any hockey rink, any sensible hockey rink, any city that has a Jumbotron in their arena. Cold Lake, I'm talking to you. If you're talking and listening, what I'm telling you is any sensible small market, right? Like small market just has a Jumbotron for the sake of having a Jumbotron and wants to fill an arena on a Saturday night in April, May, whenever the series comes, why not play it live, right? That's the thing. I'm sure you have to figure out the rights, you have to figure all that out, but it's well worth it. That would be such a community event, and it's something communities can put together. Now, I'm floating that idea out there. Maybe it's a little non-doable, but I'm saying, like, guys, any sensible thing, hype this up as much as it could be if it possibly comes true, because, guys, the excitement's already there. It's already there. You just have to cash in, and that's what I'm saying is, if you're not dreaming, if you're not cheering for a Battle of Alberta playoff series this year, because of how the playoffs are formatted, it's very good and likely if both teams make it. If you're not cheering for it, you're doing something wrong. If you're cheering against one team not to make the playoffs, literally, if you're looking for anyone to miss the playoffs, go against Vegas, go against Arizona, go against Vancouver. Calgary, Edmonton, guys, it has to happen. That's all it comes down to. The Battle of Alberta this year, we've trended way too much towards getting it going again in the playoffs. It's been 29 years. Let's get it going. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Tyson. This is Dolynny TV. What do you say? Let me know in the comments section down below. I will catch you in the next one.